And we are now looking at Intermediate Algebra Chapter 3, Section 3, Linear Equations in Two Variables. Again, I recommend that you print out those corresponding lesson plan sheets so that you can follow along with the video and work through the problems as I work on them. Our objectives for this section are to write an equation of a line given its slope and y-intercept, graph a line using its slope and y-intercept, write an equation of a line given its slope and a point on the line, write an equation of a line given 2 points on the line, write equations of horizontal and vertical lines, and write an equation of a line parallel or perpendicular to a given line. To write an equation of a line given its slope and y-intercepts, given the slope m of a line and the y-intercept b of the line, we can determine its equation by y equals mx plus b. Now, this is a very useful equation so that in the future, when we're given an equation, we can simply solve the equation for y and write it in this slope-intercept form and be able to pick out the coefficient of the x as the slope and the constant term on the right as your y-intercept. This is helpful as in the past sections. To find the slope of an equation of a line, we had to find 2 points and then we use the slope formula. Now we can simply solve the equation for y, write it in this form so we can pick out the slope and the y-intercepts. The way you graph a line if you're given the slope and the y-intercept is you begin graphing the line at the corresponding y-intercept, whatever that value of b is. And then you're going to use the slope, again, which is your rise over your run, to find another corresponding point. You would draw the line through those 2 points. Your m, your coefficient of your x term, is your slope, which is your rise over your run. The slope-intercept form of the equation of a line with slope m and y-intercept of 0, b is written as y equals mx plus b. The coefficient of the x term is your slope, and the constant term on the right, after you solve for y, that's going to be your y-intercepts. In this example, we want to find the equation of a line with the slope of -3/4 and a y-intercept of 0, -3. Notice we want to be able to write it in y equals mx plus b format. So by looking at what we're given here is the slope is -3/4 and the y-intercept is 0, -3. So the b part is -3. So our equation of the line is found by substituting in the given value for m of -3/4 x plus b, which is -3. Now we're going to write this as y equals -3/4 x. Instead of writing this as plus a -3, we're going to write this as a -3. Now we could make a quick sketch of this graph because we know that the y-intercept is -3. We start graphing the line here at -3, and then we use a rise of -3 and a run of +4. So down 3 to the right 4, and once you have those 2 points, you can connect them with a straight line. My stylus is really making this look like a sloppy graph, but take your time with graph paper and a pencil and a ruler. You'll be able to graph a nice straight line. Here we want to graph the line having the slope of 3/2 and a y-intercept of +3. We first graph this line by sketching the y-intercept at 0, 3. So locate that point on the graph paper, and then we're going to use a slope of 3/2. Now the 3 is your rise. From this point, we're going to move up 3 units and in a vertical direction, and to the right 2 units. we can connect those with a line. Connect this point and extend all the way through in both directions. We have the line going through the point 0, 3, that's your y-intercept, and using the slope of 3 up 3 over 2, we get to this new point here. And the coordinates of this new point you can determine by going 2 units to the right of the origin and 6 units up. So that's another point. So when you're graphing on MyMathLab, you pick up the line tool and plot the first point and plot another point. If you're given the slope and the y-intercept, you can do that quite easily. In this example, we want to write the equation of a line given its slope and a point on the line. If we know the slope m of a line and the coordinates of any point, it doesn't have to be the y-intercept, we can determine its equation using this form. This is called slope-intercept form. Sorry, it's not slope-intercept form. It is point-slope form. So if we're given a point which has coordinates x1 and y1, and we're given a slope which is the value m, we would simply plug that into the corresponding locations on the point slope formula. Our point x1, y1, we would plug in the values there and there, and then for our slope m, we would put that value there. And that is how we find the equation of a line if we're given a point and a slope. Again, to reiterate, the point-slope form of the equation of a line with slope m passing through the point x1, y1 is given here. So again, you're plugging in values for x1 and y1 as your given point and the slope of m. All right, in this example, we want to find the equation of a line having a slope of 1 and passing through the point 2/5, comma 1. Use the point-slope form of the equation of a line with x sub 1 and y sub 1. The x sub 1 and y sub 1 are given to us. That's our 2/5 and 1. The slope was also given to us as 1. We're going to plug those into this point slope form of a line. Y minus y sub 1. Y sub 1 is the given y value of the point. So that's going to be y minus 1 equals our slope. The slope given here is 1. And we're going to multiply that by the quantity of x minus x sub 1. Our x sub 1 is 2/5. Now we can leave the equation like this, as it is written in point slope form, or we can rewrite this. We can distribute that 1 and even solve this for y. Distributing the 1, we get 1x, which is x, minus 2/5. We can also write this in slope-intercept form by adding 1 to both sides. Now you may want to review how you add fractions together, and all scientific calculators have the fraction feature. So you can write this as y equals x and negative 2/5 plus 1. But in order to add numbers together, and if you have a fraction, you need to have a common denominator. So adding 1 is the same thing as adding 5 over 5. So negative 2/5 plus 5/5 is positive 3/5. So just another way of writing the equation of the line. The first equation that we're given here, that's in point slope form. And by rearranging the terms using a little bit of algebra, we get it into slope-intercept form.